So today I'm going to be cooking some meatballs for lunch with a bit of pasta sauce, with a bit of chilli in, some shallot, and I'm going to grate some parmesan over it. First of all, I need to get the meatballs made, and I'm going to stick them in the fridge for an hour or so just to cool down before I actually make it. So something you could do first thing in the morning. I've got about 400 grams of mince, I've got some garlic, a bit of egg. The garlic is for the sauce along with the chilli and the tomatoes. I've got some good tomatoes here. You can tell they're good because as soon as you open the tin you can smell the tomatiness there. And there's not a lot of sauce, it's mainly pulp. So you've got the tomatoes in there, not just a load of gravy, tomato gravy you don't want. I'm going to buy some breadcrumbs which I'm going to make, and because this is only 10% fat, it's all I can get in the shop, I'm going to add a little bit of lard in there. I know, lard, cooking, who would do that? But it's 10% fat, and when you're making burgers or when you're making meatballs, you need a quantity of fat. The alternative is you could put some pork mince in there as well with the beef mince. Now the pork mince I could find only had 5% fat. I mean, that's just ridiculous for pork. Why would you want it so low? It's just going to be dry. So I'm just going to put a little bit of lard, just grate that in so that when I'm working with it, I know it's going to stick together. Cool. Let's get on. Okay, so there's probably going to be more meatballs than I want for lunch. Even me, I do like my grub. But I'm going to freeze half of them and we can have them another time. So let's start off. So I'm going to make my breadcrumbs first of all. And I've got a bit of bread here that's it's a couple of days old. It really is not much use for a bun. So I'm just going to chop that up first roughly, and then I'm going to make breadcrumbs out of that. So you probably want to skip ahead until I finish making the breadcrumbs. The reason why I'm fast forwarding is because I haven't got anything interesting to talk. Until you're happy with that, it does not need to be perfect, but we'll move that to one side. Let's get our meat, and I am just going to use salt and pepper for this. I'm not going to use anything fancy. Just stick those breadcrumbs in now. And that's, as you see, that was just one bun. And let's get some of this lard. Now it's probably been out in the fridge too long, so it may not shave, but we'll have a go. If not, I'll just chop it up. There we go. I think that should do. I'm going to crack the egg in there. Plenty of salt and pepper, and at least with this you know what you're getting. And now I'm going to get my hands dirty, and if you squeeze it through your hands like that, you're making it even a finer mince than it was already. So actually quite a nice feeling, that. So let's go for that. I think we're nearly there. Right. I'm going to make this into some meatballs now, and then I'm going to wrap up and put in the fridge to chill. So the way I'm going to make this, let's use some of those breadcrumbs that are already there, roll that up, and I can feel that's quite firm. Now depending how big you want your meatballs will depend how big you make your log. I think that's probably about right. It's about 1.5 inches in diameter, and that's going to make some nice meatballs. I'm going to freeze that mince, and I'm going to freeze that as is, ready to make the meatballs the next time. That's fine, that's going to go in the freezer. And the rest of these I'm just going to roll up. And you can see they're slightly different sizes. Just have to be careful when I'm cooking that I take account of that, go for the biggest one being ready, and the rest will be all ready at that time. Okay, and they're now going to go into the fridge at least an hour, and then I'll pull them out for lunch. Okay, so here are the meatballs, fresh from the fridge. So they've got nice and firm now, and they're ready to use. So I'm going to get my pasta water on first. Now that's a small pan, but I'm only making it for one, and we'll get this up to temp.
Now, when you're cooking pasta, you should put plenty of salt in the water. That's probably going to be enough for the size of pan that I've got. If you've got a huge pan, then put more in. Otherwise, you're going to have flavourless pasta. We don't want that. So, let's get our main pan on. And that's going to have our meatballs in and our shallots. I'll just put these to one side for now. Grab a knife. Shallots. And we're going to finely dice these. And for one, that's probably going to be about enough. It's for me, so I'm quite happy with that. Put those to one side, I'll use those in something later. And I'm going to use just one chilli. Again, chop down almost all the way through, peel the bottom off, all the way through, peel the bottom off, and sometimes you just get a little bit left. And again, for this, you can chop it very much like the onion. You can do it really fine. Slice across, a couple of places, and jobs are good. And for the chilli, I never bother taking the seeds out, but I'm probably going to use half of this chilli. So I'm going to split that lengthways. I'm not worried whether I keep the seeds in or not, but I just want flecks of chilli in here. I don't want rings. Right, let's get these meatballs on. I've got my tomatoes here, and I've got olive oil, and I'm just going to fry these off until they're mostly done, and then I'm going to add the sauce into them, and then I'll finish cooking them off in the sauce. I'm going to keep more olive oil for later. Olive oil is really good in tomatoes and the sauce. It does emoliate with it, so it joins together, and you get a nice sauce from it. Now we can see that they are starting to brown already on the outside. Right, tell you what, they smell smashing. They really are terrific then. I'm from Yorkshire, so it takes me a while to get going, but when I like something, I like it. I had to graduate from the highest form of praise in Yorkshire, which is not bad, to smashing, super, and I think I might have managed beautiful. But, there we go, nicely toasting this off now. And this must be something that professional chefs...
There's smoke in the family room. The alarm may sound. The alarm is
don't have to worry about.
Smoke alarm silence in the family room. Alex.
This is this is called Brindisi. It's from Puglia.
Emergency.
Fire alarms, great, eh? Right, so I've got a real good flavour on them. Real good colour on those now. So I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add my shallots along with the chilli. And immediately you're going to get that chilli kick in the back of your throat as well. So that's fine, that's good. I'm now going to add in a third of those. Right, I'm going to get my pasta on. Just portion for one. And I'm going to put some of this red wine I've used in my moussaka. It's from Puglia, and it's a Negromaro local grape, dark, spicy, very much like a Primitivo, I think. So I'm going to add a bit of that in for the stock. Now you noticed I never actually got rid of any of the flavours from the pan. I kept all those meat juices in. In goes the garlic. And if you want to add more tomatoes, just throw them in. And you can see what I mean about these tomatoes. They really are a good pulp to it, so it's not all water. It is actually really, really good tomato based. So that's going to finish off nicely in there. I'll use a fork to get all this into the water and keep it separate. I've never been a fan of putting oil in my water. Don't know why some people do it. I've tried it, didn't really do much. Probably, if anything, it made it stickier. Right, so we just need to let that cook away now for about 5 or 8 minutes, and I think we're ready to dish up. So our pasta is nearly there. It's still al dente, but far too much for me, that. And I would have to pick the hottest day of the year to do this. Okay, so I'm at a stage now where that pasta is almost done. What I'm going to do is I could either throw it in the plate and then build up the balls on top and throw the sauce on. But I think what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to throw my spaghetti in with my meatballs. I'm going to toss it around a bit. And then I am going to do something you've probably not seen, or you may have done. But if you just add some of your pasta water to your sauce, it does something to the sauce that you don't get if you don't do that. So I'm going to plate that up now. Turn the stove off. Start with a cleanish plate. And you can see all that sauce sticking to that pasta, all done for you.
The smoke alarm is over.
And then you can just plate these meatballs up. Get a bit more of that sauce. And then, if you really want to finish it off with some greens, there's some basil. And final bit, some parmesan. And there we go, final bit, some parmesan. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching.